Dozens of Scott County residents turned out to show their opposition to a proposed natural gas power plant. Maddie Franz shows us where the process is and why they want to keep the plant out.
I talked to some of you folks when I was out here yesterday.
On a snowy night in Eldridge,
If you're here and you already know you're opposing the power plant, can you stand?
there's no question how people are feeling. They're North Scott County residents who live near the site of a proposed natural gas peaking plant. Run by the Central Iowa Power Cooperative, or CIPCO, it would turn on when demand for power is the highest.
I was born and raised on this farm. It's a century farm.
Susan Fry is one of them, about a mile from the site.
It's not just us. It would harm the crops and the surrounding property.
Basically, nobody knew what was going on here.
It's one of many concerns about the plant.
These pollutants can worsen pre-existing conditions like asthma, COPD, and lead to respiratory disease.
Dr. Ross Barant sees the patients suffering from these conditions.
I continue to urge our leaders to put the health of Eldridge and Scott County residents first.
A Government Accountability Office study of peaker plants says they might put out fewer emissions overall, but those emissions are more concentrated when the plants turn on.
The thought of putting more particulates into the air does not resonate well with me.
Since it was tabled in October, the power plant ordinance hasn't come back up at the Scott County Board. That's because Board Chair John Maxwell says he's waiting for more information. He told me he wants to know the county's current generating capacity and whether a peaking plant is actually necessary.
I think it was not only sprung on the public, it was sprung on us.
Board member Maria Briesco also wants more information.
Yes, there may be reason to do something with our prime farmland, but at this point in time, I am not convinced that this is the best thing to do now. I think we need to study it.
All right, Maddie Franz joins us now. Maddie, so speaking of this point in time, where are we in this process?
Yeah, so John, we're still pretty early on in that process. In October, the Board of Supervisors considered an ordinance that would change, that would allow for these thermal energy plants to be built on prime agriculture farmland. Now, it has been on hold since October. Now, if that is approved, CIPCO would need to get the go-ahead from two more county boards, the Iowa Utility Commission and the Iowa DNR. All
right, so a lot to look forward to potentially on this, and certainly there's questions of some conflict of interest as well. If you want to know more about that, you can actually head to Maddie's article online at WQAD.com.